Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another tutorial. My name is Parker Lee, and today we're going to look at how we create our children Sunday school videos. So let's jump into Premiere. All right, so we're into Premiere, and as you can look over here on the left-hand side in our project bin, we have a couple different folders. Of course, we have our sequence folder and then our raw files folder. In here, we have our children opens. So we are going to start with one of those. Below that, we've got our prayer overlays, which really should be in graphics. Then we've got our actual video and some music. So let me create another folder for that. And throw music into its folder. There we go. All right, so as always, we begin by dragging in our video because Premiere will auto set our sequence to be the right size. We can delete channels 1 to 2, 3, and 4. We can delete channels 2, 3, and 4 because we only need channel 1. And then let's go through and find where we start. All right, so that looks like about the spot where we'll begin. Let's take a listen.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Miss Audrey, and
okay, so now you'll notice we have her on a green screen, so we need to key her out. So to that, we need a background. So let's jump over into Chrome. All right, so let's search unsplash.com. Yep, there we go. Photos, fall, background. There we go. All right, I like this picture of a tree. Let me just look. Oh, actually, I like this one. This one feels very fall, so I'm going to download it. There we go. All right, got that in. Take that, put it behind, and go ahead and stretch it out. All right, but we still can't see her. So we have to key out our green screen. So to do that, I'm going to come into my effects panel under my favorites, hit my Ultra key, drag it on top. All right, so now we can key out this green. So Ultra key is one of the effects that'll appear now here. Take your key color, take this little eyedropper, select green. And it may take a couple tries. You can kind of work on cleaning it up, finding the best image. All right, so now that we're here, but we still have all this background stuff, what we can do is we can draw out a mask for our opacity. So I'll start here, and what you're doing is you're just kind of going around the edge of the green screen, making sure you are within the green screen and cutting out anything you don't want. So there we go. There is our mask. Now that's pretty good, but you can definitely still see a shadow. So what we need to do is we need to take our setting and hit aggressive. And now that looks much better. We've still got some, so we'll have to maybe clean it up. And again, there's no real definitive way to do this. It's just kind of playing with it. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take my background and I'm going to right click, set to frame size. All right, so now I need to zoom in just a touch. And what I'm just trying to do is just trying to make it look semi-realistic, like she's actually out there. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. There you go. So that looks pretty good. Our key looks pretty good. So
if you want to,
she can move around and everything looks good. Now, one thing that would make this look better is an effect called Gaussian blur. Take our Gaussian blur, drop it on our background, and we're going to repeat our edge pixels, and we're just going to make it maybe a 4, maybe a 12. Just something to kind of separate her from the background. And again, we're not going for photorealistic here. We obviously know Audrey's not standing out there, but just trying to make it look a little bit better to where it's not like we just slapped a green screen and a background on there. Just trying to make it work together. And it's pretty good. Now, you will notice there are parts of this
Pharaoh's armies
where she walks out of frame. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. Let's come over here and let's just double check, make sure I didn't just do a really bad mask. There it is. No, see, she goes over the green screen, so we'll just have to leave that one with it how it is. And it's okay, it's pretty brief.
Pharaoh's armies coming.
Yeah, it's pretty brief, so we can leave it.
So let's do that.
So that's the basics. So from here, it would be okay. But as she's doing these
So take a minute and do that.
praises and prayers, I do just want to make a note. Overall, this is a pretty wide framing. I would normally like to see it a little bit closer. Because we have the ability to make that mask, we can crop out a lot of things. What would make this better would be if she was something like maybe that big. That way we could, really be able to read what's on her board right there, but that is okay. So here she's going to say, hey, take a minute, pray with your Sunday school friends. And what we want to do,
Y'all have specifically on your hearts today. So take a minute and do that.
is we're going to pause there. And we're going to hit this little camera icon, which is export frame. And what that'll do is allow us to export a frame. So you can tell it where to go if you want to. So 2020, FUMC, children, miscellaneous. Now you know why I have a miscellaneous folder. Choose there. And as long as this is checked, this import into project, it will automatically appear in your project folder. So it's here. And what I want to do now is split. So Command K. And split this to give us a freeze frame. So the key to this is once you export your frame, don't move your little blue line cursor. Because you see, she just
take a minute and do that.
freezes, which is perfect. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to add this little cut of music. It's Sweet Hope by Megan Wofford. We got this from Epidemic Sound. You can also go on Epidemic Sound and find a new song if you'd like, but we've been using this one for a while. And we just kind of find, where's a good place for it to stop? Probably right there. So minute 43. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drag that way over there so we don't run into it. And drag this underneath. So now I know that once she pauses, we'll have some music.
So take a minute and do that.
Okay, but you can tell that's way too loud. So we're going to click our cut of music, come over to Essential Sound. If you don't see Essential Sound, hit your Windows, and it's here, Essential Sound. You could also hit Command G alternatively. We're going to call this music. We're going to tag it as music, and we're going to auto loudness it as music. And what that does is it automatically changes the level of the sound by a measurement called LUFS. LUFS is a measurement of loudness, not necessarily dB measurement, but of energy. And so what that does is it brings it into something more acceptable. Nice. Okay. Now what we're also going to add on top of that is a timer. So our teachers and such know how long they have left. So this is a 40-minute timer. We don't need 40 minutes. I just made one really long. That way it fit all of our needs. But I'm going to come down here to the end, under a minute 40. If I click this film, I will drag only the video, which is super helpful. This one also has a marker on the end of it, which tells me where the end, where 0 is. And so we're going to leave that there, drag this out, so that now when
Take a minute and do that.
this starts, we have a timer. So our teachers know, hey, I've got another minute 43 for my kids to be able to pray. And because we broadcast this on TV, we have to be mindful of safe margins. So Premiere has a handy dandy overlay tool right here. If you don't see it, you can hit this plus for button editor and then you can add it to your toolbox. And so anything that we broadcast, because we broadcast on TV, WOBV, we have to be mindful of that. Anything outside of this outer box is at risk of being cut off and could be cut off on TV. So our minute 43 needs to be within that. We're also going to overlay this graphic. It's a PNG graphic. It just looks like this. Overlay that as well. So now it looks like that. So in case our 4-year-olds can't remember what they're supposed to be doing and praying about, they can look back up and remember, oh yeah, we're supposed to be praying for our family members, church, and friends. Again, one thing you could do is add a little Gaussian blur to this. So add effects, Gaussian blur, drop it on, repeat your edge pixels, maybe a 8, and it blurs it out. If you add that, so now when you
Take a
pop
minute
into
and
it,
do that.
we're able to pause. They know they have a minute 40 to pray. They've got a little bit of music going on, so they're being led spiritually that way. And then as soon as we're done, we can pull this back. And because it was a freeze frame, she starts immediately where she was. Now, that can be good or bad because sometimes we're unable to get the marker closed, and sometimes we just want to make it a little bit cleaner. So maybe we restart from here.
So now let's talk about some praises today.
Now, similar to how we did the music, we can also do our dialogue in Essential Sound. We can tag it as dialogue, and it can auto-match our loudness. One thing to keep in mind, when it says average loudness, it's looking at everything within your audio file. So if I were to have 10 seconds of relative silence, it's going to take that into account of this video is really quiet. I need to raise everything up and average out, then the loud parts are going to be really loud. So it's not perfect. It's just an average. It's one of those quick tools that can at least get you into the right ballpark of where you need to be.
So now let's talk about some praises today.
And then we'll repeat it. So
We want to share
we will, export a frame, freeze frame,
and make sure
and
we
add
thank
some
God
music.
about
Same cut of
this
music.
morning. Thank God for this morning. All right, I'll set this down and make sure we
So
thank
let's
God
find that
about
spot.
this morning. Thank God for this morning.
So that's my spot. Create my freeze frame, export it. It should be now here. There it is. One thing you can also do is if you drag something from a project folder and drag it here, you can insert things before, which can be really helpful. And because we're doing the same cut of music, I can just click it here. I still have my ins and outs selected. Drag it in, drag it where it needs to go.
Sure we thank God about this morning. Thank God for this morning.
Again, need to make sure that we essential sound, music, loudness. Alternatively, you could also copy and paste the same file you already have down here. Either way, whichever works for you. We will need the 40-minute timer, which already has our ins and outs selected. And take a moment to share a couple of praises. Let me go back and look. What size did I make this? Quick hint, you can copy and paste this whole motion. So then all of these numbers, the 216, 931, 960, as well as the rotation and anchor point, all of that will come over and it'll pop right where it needs to be. Okay, that looks about right. You can also do the same thing for your Gaussian blur. Copy that effect and paste it over there. So now they are the exact same.
For this morning.
And it saves you some keystrokes. Now at the end of this, she'll come out of it and she will pray.
All right, I'll set this down and we'll say a prayer together.
And again, depending on how you film it, you may have a good clean cut there that you can make. On this one, we don't, so we just kind of roll with it.
Whew.
So let's find our endpoint and add some graphics real quick.
Have a great Sunday, and I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.
So there's our out point. Select all, Command K to cut it. Now let's add a couple graphics. So we have these children opens, and there are two of them. There's a tag that we'll put here at the end. We will also essential sound music. Music's fine for this. And you can see how big of a jump that is. When you look down here, this highlighted video, look how loud it is. Turn on the LUFS, and it goes much quieter. Okay, so that's our end. And then let's come back up here to the beginning. Remember that trick I told you earlier where you can select something and then drag it on top of your program to insert before? We're going to do that there. So we're going to insert that before. And this one is done in an animation style in which it fades to black in a way that we can cut under it. If that doesn't make sense, let me show you. So let me find where it cuts out. Yeah, okay. So from right here, I'm actually going to make a mark. Drag it forward just a touch. And so, whoops. So what's going to happen is it's going to fade out, but we're going to see the video underneath it. And so that's a really cool effect. That's the open animation. So it sounds like this. Again, essential sound. Not much change there. Credit where credit is due. That one was made by TJ Johnson.
Good morning, everybody. And
then it animates right into
Good morning,
her starting. So that open animation, that tag there at the end, those couple prayer moments. If you really want to, you can kind of go in depth and do some announcement slides. You can create those in Photoshop or in Canva. At times I've done the Christ candle. Just, we light the Christ candle because it reminds us that Jesus is in the room with us. Just a way to reinforce it. If you hear it and read it, you remember it a little bit better. And also it helps the parents who are just kind of not really watching, but they're watching with their kids. It helps them kind of keep along with what's going on. There's also a song part. We have put lyrics on there before. We do have a stockpile of lyrics in your hard drive if you want it. Totally up to you. We've done it. So just kind of depends. And I think that is all. So we've got an open. One other thing we do is lower thirds for this. So let me go find that. And so this graphic is actually different from that open graphic. This one was made before we knew how to do those animations. So it is actually old school green screen key, but we already know how to do that, right? You just take your effect of that Ultra key, drop it on top. And because this one is perfect key green, you should just be able to click it and you're good to go. So it animates in.
Glad to see y'all this morning. So we've got a couple of announcements today.
And that's it. So that is how we create our children's Sunday school. If you've watched our adult Sunday school, it's a very similar process as far as green screens and keys. There are some great YouTube tutorials out there on how to utilize that Premiere Effect Ultra Key. If you're having trouble, go look them up. They are amazing. I'm thinking of one from Film Riot in specific. But there are some great things in there. Yeah, my name is Parker Lee. That's how we do our children's Sunday school. I hope this video has helped.